Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be playing something that's going to be on Kickstarter, I think, on Friday. It's called My Father's Sword, and it's been a labor of love for Andreas Ludstrom, and he is also the creator of Windheim and The Horn of the Dawn, which some of you may have watched on my channel somewhere else. And so it's a Nordic Skalds production. And today I haven't received any money or anything like that. I'm doing this because I really like the game, and also I like what Andreas does and what Nordic Skulls does. So thanks for joining us. Today we have, starting on my left, right, is Goldie. And Goldie is here. John, who's below me, is here. So Goldie's in Canada. Uh, Yun is in Sweden. And on my left is my left is Dido, and Dido's in Egypt. So
Hello.
we're an international cast. So uh, I'm gonna try to explain that in the next 2 hours we're going to be able to create our characters. We don't have any sheets on Foundry. Foundry is simply for rolling dice today, but you will notice in the center of your screen as you watch that I have a box where I'm going to mark down the stats, and all you need to roll is a d8. It's as simple as that. So um, let's get started. Um, it's a story that gets unfolded by you. You're the ones who are going to create this story, and you're going to give me the characters that you want to play, and we're just going to go into the world and play. It's supposed to be a game where literally you can just set aside 2 or 3 hours, or maybe even 4 hours, and just start and be able to play without any type of major math, any type of uh, kind of restrictions. It's very, very open. Don't hinder yourselves. Just go nuts. So um, the rules of the game are use your imagination. So um, I'll explain as we go along. But the first thing that we need to do is figure out um, what what is your background. So I'm going to ask you one at a time. Um, so, uh, so we're in a fantasy world, so it's set for fantasy. So, but it can be as fantastical as you want to make it. So, I think what I'll do is I'll start with Goldie. Goldie, what type of background do you want to be? And when I say background, I mean, do you want to be uh, do you want to be a kind of uh, tough fighter? Do you want to be a distance person? Uh, uh, you could be a hunter or a farmer. You could be a thief, but you could be anything. You could be.
Can I be a crotchety old necromancer?
Yes, you can. All right.
That's what I shall be.
Okay, so you will be a necromancer. All right. And your personality has already been answered. Crotchety. All right. So crotchety, crotchety. Oh, and old. So you said old,
Yep,
right?
you
All
bet.
right. So remember to mark this down so that so that you remember what you are. Um, so, Yun, what are you? What do you want to be?
Hmm.
Anything.
I'm thinking maybe a very young mm, man or boy, maybe, who
Okay.
is
A
a
boy,
wannabe swashbuckler,
a swashbuckler. All right. Awesome.
and he has a heart of gold, but has a little bit of. He's very innocent and not very smart.
So he's okay, so say that again. He's
Swashbuckler wannabe, young, not smart,
not
heart of gold.
Not smart, heart of gold. All right. Which will get me confused with Goldie. So not smart, heart of gold. All right. And Dido, what type of
Okay.
background do you imagine? Anything.
Okay, let's be fun. Okay, maybe a pretentious paladin. I don't know.
Nice. Okay. Okay, so a paladin. And pretentious. Not stereotypical at all. All right, so now we're going to go back a little bit before we get into culture and all the other stuff. Tell me, what's your name, Goldie? What do you think your name is going to be? Don't make it too long. I've only got so much space.
Let's go with Gerald, the Destroyer of Worlds. But he's given himself the title. He hasn't earned it yet.
Okay, so Gerald. And so we'll make sure that he tries to become the Destroyer of Worlds. Okay, so Gerald, his goal is to destroy worlds. All right, all right, and so, Yun, what do you want to be called? Your young boy.
Bert, maybe.
What?
Bert. B-U-R-T.
B-U-R-T. Bert. Bert the Swashbuckler. And Dido?
Pretentious paladin has to have a pretentious name.
Oh, yeah.
So
remember, he's competing against somebody who's destroying worlds.
No. This is a future goal, but I've given myself the title, knowing that it will happen. I'm on that path.
Around introducing yourself as the Destroyer of Worlds.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe Zanalor Fortune.
Yeah, okay. I don't have that much space.
It's with an X. X-A?
Okay,
yeah.
So spell your name.
Okay, X-A-N-A. L-A-R.
A. And then what?
L-A-R.
L-A-R. Xanalar. Right? Xanalar.
Yeah.
Xanalar. That is what you are. All right. So, Xanalar, what do you look like?
Okay. It's long golden hair.
Yeah.
Very, very. It's like you getting out of the hairdresser. It's flowing.
Okay, so it's flowing.
Yeah, and lots of jewelry in his hands.
Okay, so and jewelry. So I'm just gonna put that down as hairdresser, and I understand that you have jewelry. I imagine that Xanalar is probably wealthy, or rich, or what would you say his money situation is?
He's coming from a very wealthy family, and they are very connected. He probably didn't.
Old money.
Yeah.
Old money. All right. And you're pretentious. Are you anything else other than pretentious?
Probably condescending for sure.
Condescending. Okay. That's awesome. All right. So,
I probably hate my character. I wish him to die.
How old are you?
Yeah, probably. Of course, he will be young. Maybe 23, maybe 24.
Okay, so young. And so, Bert, tell me what you look like. You heart of gold person, you.
Yes. Quite thin over the shoulders, not very tall, unkempt hair, a little bit dirty maybe, but well, he does his best to make his appearance as good as possible. So we have some old clothes that maybe once were fancy.
Okay, so he tries. He tries for looks. All right. And how much money does he have?
As much as the last person who gave him something.
So?
So maybe a couple of small coins.
So how much in general? So relatively, like, just enough to get by?
Dirt poor.
Dirt poor. Dirt poor.
Oh.
Okay, so he relies on others. Maybe he's relying on Xanalar, and somehow or other Xanalar has maybe taken him on. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think that Xanalar is a big hero for Bert right now.
Cool.
That's so awesome. Even if he doesn't want him around, he will follow him.
Nice.
Yes.
Gerald.
Destroyer of worlds.
How much money do you have?
Well, it's old money in the sense that it's what I've dug up with the bodies. Because you've got to get your materials from somewhere.
Dug up money.
Right. Okay. So he's sourced his money through his product. But he's not rich. Money doesn't matter. It's all about gaining power and prestige, and just not so much prestige, notoriety.
Okay.
Having your name known and people shaking and fearful and awesome. Power.
All right. So what do you look like?
Gerald is wearing a dusty gray full cloak with a hood, with a long staff. He doesn't have a beard, wasn't able to grow one, but he's got I don't know if this analogy will come across, but like a rotten apple doll. So the apple has dried and there's wrinkles and creases and not looking very healthy. He's a necromancer. It's not about the looks.
A rotten apple doll. Wow. Do you know what that is, Dito? A shrunken apple? You get an apple and you carve it. Isn't that right, Goldie? You carve it and then it shrivels up?
Yeah.
It's like some sort of voodoo doll?
No, it's
like the head.
So as the app, this may be just a maritime thing. I don't know. But my nan had them. So you just carve the face in the apple and the fruit shrinks.
Okay, understand.
Okay, so it's like dried rotten fruit, but because it's dried and all the wrinkles, you put little eyes and nose and stuff, and that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like the shrinking head. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, like that. The dry, flaky skin, lots of wrinkles.
In Sweden, do you have like the apple faces that are carved in and then they shrivel up? Oh, you're muted.
Seen it, but not common.
No, not common. Okay.
No.
It's something that Goldie's nan did for her.
Not for me.
She
proudly displayed it on the coffee table.
Awesome. All right. So now your culture. So if you're thinking about your culture, what culture? So human, elf, dwarf, but you could be anything. Like, even though you've described yourself, you can also think like just use your imagination. You don't have to use the stereotypical tropes. You can be anything.
Anything.
So I'm going to
Okay.
ask Gerald. Gerald, what culture are you from?
Um, uh,
You can say pass.
I'm going to be undead, and I don't. Let's see.
So you're like burying up your own or digging up your own when you get that money.
I'm making minions.
You're making you're making minions. So you're okay. So you're undead, uh, making minions to make yourself great. Okay.
But as to what my starting
Before you were dead.
before I was dead, how about dark elf?
Nice. Dark elf, Gerald.
Because I think it takes that special someone to become a crotchety old necromancer.
That's awesome. I love that he has. You described it as a dusty gray full cloak, and it's dusty because you're dead. So that's awesome.
Well, I'm in crypts a lot, so.
Of course. Bert, what culture are you from?
I'm thinking maybe he's an outcast because he's a half ratkin, half human.
Outcast, half ratkin.
So it's
Very nice.
Yeah, and
he looks a bit like, mostly like a human, but he has very large front teeth and a little bit hairy, and maybe even a little tail that he hides in his trousers.
oh, nice. With
I've already got a nickname for you.
what's that?
Wharf rat.
Wharf rat. All right, you go for it. And then Xanalar. Xanalar, what culture are you from? You're a pretentious, condescending, golden-haired paladin, but you could be anything golden-haired.
Okay, we will switch the golden hair to green hair.
Oh, okay.
And I will be a parrot.
Okay, a green hair, a parrot human or a parrot?
Parrot, yeah, parrot human, yeah. It's like the Aarakocra in D&D, but
like
it's a parrot. But parrot.
But parrot. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so the party so far is a necromancer who's an undead elf, a swashbuckler who is an outcast half ratkin human with a tail that they try to hide, and a paladin, parokin, parrot human type of. Can you fly?
I can fly, but not soaring. But yeah,
But you
can fly a little
you
bit.
can fly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So in this game, these questions are all part and parcel of the game. So the last introductory question is, what gear do you have? So, Goldie, you have a staff. What else does Gerald have?
I guess alchemy kit.
Yeah. Do you have a shovel? Because you seem to be digging up stuff.
No, just the alchemy kit. Because once I have my minions, they do the work with their hands or claws or whatever.
Do you consider
nothing complicated?
Do you consider Bert a minion? Does he do the work for you at all?
No, Bert's his own person.
All right. Bert, I'm going to ask you.
Unless you unless he dies, then
well,
game on.
Second
we
chance.
will see. Bert, what do you have? You're a swashbuckler.
Wannabe swashbuckler.
Yeah,
But he has some kind of sword, but it's broken. But it's just right size for him because it's about halfling. And
okay.
He has an old cow horn that he can blow in to produce some kind of sound,
okay,
which he likes to do.
Yeah.
And he has an old blanket.
An old blanket. Is it a family thing?
No, nothing. It's a family thing.
It's just an old blanket to keep him kind of. Does he wear it like a cape?
Yep, like a poncho.
Like a poncho. All right.
And he has some small bits and pieces that I've picked up, like some nails, a bit of string, maybe some crumbly cheese in one pocket.
Okay, awesome. Xanalar, what do you have in terms of gear?
A spear and a shield.
A spear and a shield. What else? Use your imagination. You can. You're also wealthy, so you can have whatever you want. Do you have armor?
Not fully plated armor, but yeah.
Something to kind of get around.
Oh, because I'm probably flying, because armor will be very heavy for flying. So yeah, probably not full, but half plated armor maybe or something.
Okay, half plate. So maybe like a chest piece more than anything else. All right. Sure. Do you have a hat? Or a?
No, I don't hide my flowy hair.
Don't. Your flowing feathery green hair.
I don't hide. No, I don't hide.
You don't hide that. All right. Anything else?
Anything else? Okay.
You think about that.
So, sure.
All right. So, you all are together, and so you share. Because we're not playing a campaign, you have a nemesis, and your nemesis is so this is what it says in the book. You have a nemesis, or rather, you do not have a nemesis, we hope, but your hero does. Someone who constantly shows up to cause chaos for you. A person from your youth who has done something terrible to you or your family, someone that had dire consequences. Your hero has almost certainly tried to search for this nemesis, seeking revenge in some way. If you play this game only as a one-shot, it's preferable that the group chooses a common nemesis. So you need to choose a name for your nemesis, and why you all three of you have the same nemesis. Talk amongst yourselves.
What's a nemesis between a necromancer, a paladin, and a swashbuckler?
A boy. How old? How old is this ratkin?
Well, he's late teens.
Late teens. Okay, so he's a teen.
Yeah, he's not a child.
Okay. All right. So you need
could be a constable or somebody in a police position, which would make sense for Gerald because he's breaking rules left, right, and center. Although in his mind, it's all fair game. They're all, dead is dead. But with Bert being a ratkin and not well off, he would be bullied by the police for, being a street urchin perhaps, or not looking kind of shady, even though he isn't, but being stereotyped that way. and being jealous of the paladin for doing much better in life than he can ever dream.
What do you both think?
Yeah, that's good. I'm thinking maybe he's also some kind of secret leader for a group.
Okay, so okay, so think about that. But what's his name?
It's
or
a corrupted
her name, or their name.
Constable. Let's give him a French name.
Him, her, them. You're all male, I believe, at the moment. Maybe, maybe a they or a she or something. But it's up to you.
Yeah, why not?
Constable.
Well, I just put constable out there. Can be, you know, a captain or lord something or other in charge of the city guard or the region or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably be. They would probably, she probably be also corrupted because that's why Zanalar is considered as a nemesis. What we? Oh.
But they're so jealous of your perfect hair.
Yeah, of course. Everybody's jealous of my flowy hair. What we cool? Let's give him an evil name.
Nameless.
Yeah.
Maybe Perina.
Okay.
Okay, so Constable or Captain Perina? Okay, so I'm going to keep Constable. And then Perina. Right? Perina? Perina. Constable Perina. Okay, and she is... Okay, so you had some things that you were adding, Yun. So just give me some of those. So corrupt, right?
Yeah.
Yun said that they are probably leading a secret organization or something.
Okay, so she's leading a secret group. What's the secret group's name?
Humans above all.
Humans above all. I love it. All right, so humans above all. All right, and so what does she look like? And remind me again, why does she hate you? Why is she your nemesis? She's obviously jealous of the perfect hair.
So and your success, because you're rich and she is not.
It wasn't earned.
And you're all not human. So there's another strike against you.
I raised some of her relatives and she didn't take too kindly to that.
You raised her relatives. Raised relatives.
Let's go deeper. I raised her dad.
Oh, where's her dad?
Back at my castle. Or my hideout.
Tending the gardens at your castle.
Gardener. A gardener. Yeah. Okay, so, and maybe before, what did he do? Yun, what do you think what do you think the constable's dad did before he was dead and then raised and then minionized?
Good question. Maybe he was the opposite of her or very alike her. I roll a die.
Okay.
And the higher, the more alike they are.
Okay.
So they were not So maybe he was a kind of small-time criminal.
A dock worker?
Yeah.
Or a port authority?
A dock worker. Okay, let's do the dock worker. All right. So, he's been raised dock worker. Dock worker dad. All right. And all right. So that's good. So now we start getting into some of the we have 6 more questions, but they're relatively easy. I'm going to ask you what your heroic feature is. I see that Dido has gone for a second. So your heroic feature. A heroic feature is something you as a player invoke if you want your hero to perform a deed that would normally require a dice roll. So, so it could be being quick, or a mind reader, or levitation, or something like that. But this is kind of a feature that really is kind of your thing. So, Goldie, what does Gerald have? What's
Um,
and this is going to give you like a +2 to things.
okay, so he can mind flay at a primary level.
He's
So
all right. He's a mind flayer. Okay, that's fine. You don't
so
even have
he
to say.
stuns people for a little bit.
And stuns. All right, so he stuns, and also, I guess, Ray's dead. Okay, so
That's
I mean
obvious,
that's
yeah.
just that's obvious. So Ray's dead. All right, so Bert, um, what is your heroic feature?
I think he sometimes is very lucky, so he can get very lucky and also unlucky sometimes. So it evens out, but yeah, he sometimes just have extreme luck.
Okay, so he's extremely lucky.
But the game master may invoke unluck too.
All right. Anything else that he has? One other thing.
He's extremely good olfactory sense.
Oh, he's got great smelling. He's got a great sense of smell. All right, so
yeah, he doesn't smell great.
okay. Now, what is Gerald? What is your weakness? What is the thing that you? What is your? What is the thing that's really going to mess you up?
Gerald, he lives in his head. He has long thought patterns, so he doesn't pay attention. He's easily distracted with his thought patterns and thinking of how to solve problems, how to make things better.
Okay.
So he's in his head a lot, just thinking, wondering, and being distracted, and thinking, okay, oh, this would be good this way, or I can do better than this.
Okay.
This is how I can do that.
Awesome. Yun.
I think he's easily distracted by strong smells. And he thinks everything smells good, even if it's really, really bad smell. It's a strong smell.
Okay, it's very similar. Can you think of another weakness?
Yes,
I'll add that in, but I'm just thinking something a little bit different.
He's trusting to a fault, maybe.
Okay, so he too trusting. All right, great. And so now this is something that I'll read so that you can understand what Andreas is saying. Your hero lives a life guided by a few moral codes that could result in untactical, unpleasant, or even unnecessarily dangerous decisions. These principles can make your adventure very interesting since it forces you as players to sometimes act in opposition of what the group's best interest would be. So, just like heroic features and weaknesses, principles can be invoked by the GM or the player to give a modification to a dice roll. What do you think? So examples that Andreas gives are defending the weak, following the will of the gods, survival of the fittest, rid the world of whatever, cities or sewers, equality for all, love conquers all. What do you think?
I think helping those in need is very important, especially if there's a conflict between the have and have-nots. He is on the have-nots side.
And Goldie, what about Gerald?
He is amassing an undead army, so if he sees somebody who has recently passed or not, he's going to want to raise them to join his minions.
All right, so that sounds like a weakness.
Weakness or strength? I think it's a strength.
Okay, so the principle is must raise dead?
Yeah.
Must raise recently dead or must raise dead?
It's like a sonar if he senses someone dead within the area.
Sonar, all right.
If a battle's happening and someone's been off, he's going to try to raise them even in between the battle.
All right. So, Dido, getting back to Xanalar, Xanalar has a heroic feature, something that makes them special. So obviously you can fly a bit, so you have some flying. The Mind Flayer, the Necromancer can also Mind Flay and can raise dead. Bert is extremely lucky, and he has a great sense of smell. So what else are you really, really good at? What's your heroic feature? What makes you awesome?
He's charismatic. He has his way with words.
Ah, okay. So he's a charmer.
Yeah.
All right. So that's awesome. What is your weakness?
He's being pretentious and condescending. Yeah, because he's thinking he's doing this good deeds for the greater good, but he's doing it for his fame.
So vanity is his weakness.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a parrot with a flowing green hair and lots of jewelry. So of course.
So if somebody challenges how awesome you are, that's a weakness for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Your principle. So for Gerald, they must raise the dead like a sonar. So if they sense a dead person, it's like vroom. And helping those in need is what Bert does. So Bert, if there's somebody in need, Bert's gotta help, no matter what. And Xanalar, what's your principle? And this can go either way. It may go for you or against you, depending on the circumstance. It may refocus you when you don't want to be refocused, or it may be it's a principle. So kind of like a moral code.
Like I said, it's trying to to spread the word of his what they call it for the paladin, his god. The god.
So he's spreading the word. So he's like an evangelist, or is he like spreading the word of himself?
Not you know the what you call it? I forgot the name
Patron?
in English. Yes, please. Yes.
He spreads the word of his patron. Yes.
Yes.
Who is your patron?
Probably the king of parrots.
King of parrots. And the king of parrots' name is one syllable. Or two.
I've
only got that much. Coco?
Kukru.
Crow. Oh, that fits.
Kukru.
Crew. All right.
Lots of you.
Crew. All right, there we go. All right, so, what, Gerald? What's a location that has meant a lot to you?
The graveyard.
Graveyard. Excellent. Easy.
Dedicated.
Yeah. Bert, what's a location that has, as I said, meant a lot to you? You've visited it a lot, or it gives you some type of good feels.
Yeah, he has maybe some kind of hideaway, a small rat hole.
He's got a rat hole.
Yeah.
Okay. And for Xanalar?
Probably the place he safest, probably his mother room in his father castle.
So where?
His mother room in their castle.
Okay, so in the castle.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're comfortable in castles and stuff. All right.
Yeah.
What Goldie is an event that has shaped Gerald's life, that's made a big impact? What's changed Gerald? And it could be anything. It could be an event. It could be something else. It doesn't just necessarily have to be an event. So the examples that are given in the book are captured by orcs, ridden on a griffin, read all the books in the library, snuck into a camp, stolen the crown off a regent's head, seen the family slaughtered, been in love, stuff like that. I love this. This is an awesome quote. You killed my father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate prepared to die. That's a quote in the book. Oh no. John is gone. Oh. Yuna's back. Yay.
Yep, lost connection.
Awesome. But everybody stayed in the right place, so that's fantastic. Okay, go
on. The main event that changed my life is the first time I raised the dead, and it was unintentional. And let's go with a family pet horse or working horse. And I was so distressed about, oh no, he's a dark elf. So let's go with a spider.
Okay. The pet family spider.
The spider
and
died, and I was so distraught.
Already? Were you dead already or not?
No.
Okay. Bert?
I think he met a gentleman, and he followed him, and the gentleman didn't speak the same language as Bert, but he started to shout and throw things at Bert. And Bert took this as some kind of, well, that he should do something with his life, and he threw an old sword at him and an old hat and stuff. So he took them up and became a swashbuckler.
Okay. Can I change a gentleman to a gentlewoman?
Of course.
All right. All right. And Dido?
Yeah, probably seeing his brother, which is very famous paladin. He's very loved by everyone. He inspired to be him, but yeah, he will never be. But this is what shaped him, because when he was little, he saw his brother fight in a great battle, and he aspired to be like him. But yeah, he will never will.
Okay, so each of you have a person that could be of help to you at some point, possibly. So who is the person, Gerald, that could help you? That's not one of the group.
Let's go with the mortician.
The mortician. And what's the mortician's name?
Morticia.
Morticia, the mortician. Yeah, Morticia.
That's it. It's done. It's in there. All right. So, Bert, who is a person who assists you? Or it doesn't even have to be a person. It could be you're like a rat, a ratkin. So it could be anything. It could be something completely different than a person.
I think maybe it's some kind of thieves master who has tricked Bert that he's just a person who needs help now and then with some stuff. He loses things, and in return he helps Bert. He loses things like, oh, I lost my gold purse in this person's house. Can you go fetch it for me?
And that's what Bert does. Bert helps. Okay, and so what's his name? Or her name? Or their name?
I'll roll a die. And if it's 4 or less, it's a man. Okay, it's a woman. Lucia.
All right. No, not Lucia.
That's the name I knew her by.
Oh, okay. Lucia. There we go. All right. And Xanalar, this is the last question for creating your characters.
Probably, I don't want to say his brother, but probably one of his colleagues during the
a paladin
his
or
school.
A soldier?
It's a fellow paladin. She's was his love interest.
Oh. Okay. And
yeah, but
what is her name?
Her name is something parroty, because she's also a parrot.
Oh, she's also a parrot. Okay.
Yeah. Rosalinda.
Rosalinda. And that fits. Awesome. And I need to do this. Okay, so now I need you to listen carefully because you have numbers from 1 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you're going to need to place them in your skills. An 8 is always a failure, and a 1 is always a success, okay? And they're both critical failures and successes. So if you choose an 8 in something, then that means that you're very, very strong in it. If you choose a 1 in something, then you're very, very weak in it. So I'm just going to... So here you go. So if you could write these down, you have physical, social, knowledge, spiritual power, which is kind of like constitution. So I'll repeat those. Physical strength or physical attributes, social, knowledge, spiritual power, and then the last 4 are perception, combat, magic, and secrecy. And secrecy is kind of like picking locks, dexterity, sneaking, stuff like that. So perception, combat, magic, and secrecy. So you have to put numbers as you see fit. So a 1 is you're very poor in that, and an 8 is you're awesome. So an 8 and 7 are your kind of 2 biggies, and a 1 and a 2 are kind of the things that are your dump stats. So just make it make sense to your characters, and maybe raise your hand where you're done. So it's physical, social, knowledge, spiritual power, perception, combat, magic, and secrecy. And
So,
once you're... and if you have any questions, ask.
Yeah, sure. We put a number between 1 and 8?
Yes. And you can't duplicate the numbers. So you're going to have...
okay.
So you're going to have numbers all the way across.
Understood.
Yeah. So every number between 1 and 8 must be chosen and distributed as you see fit. And if anybody's ready, just raise your hand and I'll start marking down. Goldie is ready. So, Goldie, what's your physical?
1.
Social?
2.
Knowledge?
5.
Spiritual power?
4.
Perception?
7.
Combat?
6.
Magic?
8.
Secrecy?
3.
Awesome. Anybody else? Oh, Yun? Physical power?
6.
Social?
3.
Knowledge?
2.
Spiritual power?
5.
Perception?
8.
Combat?
4.
Magic?
1.
And secrecy?
7.
7. Xanalar, how are you doing?
Give me a sec. Okay. Yep.
Go for it.
Physical 6.
6.
Social 8.
Yeah.
Knowledge 4.
Yeah.
Spiritual power 5.
Yeah.
Perception 2.
Yeah.
Combat 7.
Yeah.
Magic 1.
Yeah.
And secrecy 3. Or sorry, perception 3 and secrecy 2. I'm sorry.
Perception
3 and secrecy 2.
All right. So this is now... people can see these numbers if they're watching on Twitch. For some reason, I seem to be floating below myself. So I'm just going to correct that. There we go. There we go. All right. So the numbers are there. And so you should have all of your numbers. We've got all of your background. The last thing that I'm going to explain to you is a thing called cliche points. If you do something that is cliche, or is really awesome, like you took my father's sword or something along those lines.
Prepare to die.
Yeah, prepare to die, just like the movies and stuff. Then you get a cliche point, and that can be used to break the world. So Andreas recently said on his podcast for Sweden Rolls that if you want to bite a rock and bite it in half, you can do it with a cliche point. Cliche points basically just allow you to do anything. You can perform not just a heroic deed, but you can do anything. So the example is Agami wants to try to convince an elven realm that they should appoint an orc to be their new ruler. This is, as anyone would understand, impossible and should get a modification of -2 gazillion. Had Alex tried this with a roll for social interaction. But Alex instead chooses to spend a cliche point to convince the elves who from now on will be ruled by an orc. Okay, so that's a cliche point. So the more you kind of play and interact, the more cliche points you get. That is essentially it. You don't have any hit points. So your hit points are generally, it's narrative. So if you fail in combat with a combat roll, you're going to you can describe to me how that looks, and maybe you're more fatigued and are going to take a -1. So the highest bonus that I can give is a +2. The highest negative I can give is a -2. For something small, it's like a +1 or a +2. And they can be cumulative, so you can add those up. As we play, so magic items are like a really strong magic item would be a +2. A super sharp sword might be a +1. And basic challenges are really easy. You roll the number or under, and you succeed. You roll above, and you don't succeed, and maybe there's a consequence. If it's a roll that is opposed, I will roll as well, and it's the difference that wins. So if you roll a 2 and you needed a 6, your difference is 4. If I rolled something where the difference was 3 or less, then even though I kind of succeeded, you succeeded more. And so we'll play that out narratively, but it's very, very simple, and you don't have to worry about the math too much, because it's very rare that you're going to have something that's so set. And other than that, combat is just combat. It's the same. You roll a combat dice, and if you can argue that it's something super special, you get a +1, maybe you'll get a +2. And if you're using your weakness, heroic feature, principle, location, event, person, you get those pluses. So let's go.
How many cliche points do we get?
I'll give them as you play out. I'm not going to say everybody has one, but by the end, by near the end of the game, everybody will have one.
So only so it's a maximum always of one, right?
Oh no, it can be more. It can be more if you're really hamming it up, but
Oh,
it's at the GM's discretion. So it's
okay.
rulings instead of rules.
Okay.
The GM tip is essentially um, it's just the GM is to make it fun. And so I do not have a script and I don't have anything in front of me. So I'm just going to wing it with what you gave me. And that's probably the hardest thing for the GM. But you are encouraged to help me set the scene. But I have an idea. You find yourselves, and I'm going to move my studio up so that I don't have to look at this anymore and I can focus on the game. So, you find yourselves in a graveyard, and there's a very large tower in the middle of the graveyard. And unlike mausoleums where they're pretty low and flat, maybe they go underneath the ground in like a crypt, this is a tower where the body is at, there may be a body at the very, very top. And for some reason, uh, the person, Rosalinda, or not Rosalinda, Elucia has asked Bert if he would go to the top of the tower where Elucia believes that she left something really important. Bert, what did she tell you that was so important for you to get?
I think it was a gold watch on a chain.
So she's left this gold watch, and of course, Gerald wants to go because there's a graveyard, and there's been a rumor that Xanalar has heard from the paladins that someone, one of the paladins was investigating this area, um, but no names were given or anything. But there was a belief that the paladin was in the area, and you're searching for this maybe possibly lost paladin.
Okay.
So, like, your colleague?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you find yourselves at the gates, these wrought iron gates. It's a very stormy, windy night, and I'm going to determine whether or not it's cold or not. So if it's high, it's pretty cold, and if it's low, it's pretty warm. So it's kind of breezy and coolish, but it's not freezing. And it's just after dusk. The sun has gone down, but it's that time where, because it's so dark, with the clouds and the breeze, everything just seems very dark earlier than normal. And there's a little bit of a mist in the graveyard because of this temperature change that's happening. And the wind is kind of blowing it around in little swirls. And so you're at the Iron Gate. What do you want to do?
Is this tower like a Zoroastrian Tower of Silence? You know, where they put the bodies on top and let the spirits rise to the
Yeah.
and also the birds to get their
Yeah.
food.
Oh, it's open.
There's very large, almost like windows that are around it. So kind of windows that are rectangular and then maybe fancy, almost Arabic with kind of a kind of tulip top, and then it goes down. And these go around in a probably like an octagon pat, like there's 8 sides to it at the top, almost like a lighthouse, but it's quite wide. It would be maybe about 20 feet wide at the top, and at the bottom maybe 40 feet wide. And there's a stone slab that's in front in it, and so it doesn't at the moment from the distance look disturbed. It's a very, very cramped graveyard. There are stones on top of stones and very small paths to get in between. It's a very ancient, almost Transylvania type of setting.
Are we all at the gate?
Yeah. So what do you say to each other? What do you do?
I wonder why Alicia left her gold watch at the top of the sky burial site. She drops her things almost everywhere. She's a little bit careless with her stuff, to say the least. So, should we go in? I think she gave me a hint of where we could pass through here. I think there's some kind of opening around somewhere.
Let me lead the way, protect you from the evil of this world. I will lead the way. Don't get any idea, Geralt. Not during my watch.
I
Don't
shake the
anyone.
gate. Can't you just open that gate? Can't you just open that gate?
And
I'm not crawling in the muck. Open the gate.
and is the gate open? Is the gate open, Xanalar, or is it locked?
I'm trying to just do. Yeah, it's open and it's
open.
squeaking.
So Gerald is rattling the gates.
I'm just open.
And you just open it. And
Yeah,
open the other.
Yeah, it's
this way and you open this way.
Yeah, it's a more of a push.
So you get inside, and I would like Gerald to roll a perception roll, please. And it's always a D8, always just one D8.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, crap. Okay.
I'm going to give you a +2. So if you roll an 8, it's bad. So what you see is there's this very small... You thought it was a mausoleum. You thought it was a little kind of tomb. But you notice, and so does Bert, I think. Maybe Bert needs to roll perception as well. But you notice that there's a little light that's flickering outside the door. And yeah, absolutely. Bert understands completely that there's the smell of a rabbitkin and an old rabbit. The rabbit smells not dead, but just from the sense of smell, very, very old and even dirty, like lots of dirt. And
maybe
so,
he needs some help.
Yeah, and so this, you may believe, is a mortician. Or maybe a gravedigger.
There's someone here. Maybe he or she needs some help. Can I smell if it's he or she?
You rolled really well. It's a them.
A gravedigger, then. does Gerald has a couple of undead with him, or are you alone?
Not yet.
Good to know.
Drains my energy if I bring them all at once. Gosh, gotta work myself up to destroy the worlds, but I'm getting there.
And
First
with
victim was that anthill. Oh.
destroying the world, I think Bert thinks that's something like the socialist paradise, maybe he looks forward to destroying the structural differences between people. Of course, that's what you mean.
Of course. I'm gonna give Bert a cliche point for that. I think that's awesome. And so you go in, and are you going toward this place first, or are you going directly to the tower?
I'm looking at the others. Should we check this rabbit kin out? Maybe they need our help.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody else is in the graveyard, we want to know where they are so they don't take what I want to get.
So you go over and you get in front of kind of the door is open, and do you just kind of barge in? Do you announce your arrival? Do you what do you do or say?
Of course, I will have to announce my arrival.
Okay.
I'm Zanalar here. Who is here?
The back of this bunny is facing you, and it's got itty bitty kind of legs, and then widens out to this massive broad shoulders, and then super bunny ears, absolutely white fur, but it's wearing jeans, like overall jeans, which is covered in dirt, rippling white muscles, and goes, "Who are you?"
Have you not heard about me before? I'm
And then
Zanalar Forward.
they turn around, and they have little itty bitty glasses, like teeny tiny glasses that are too small for the eyes. Looks, and there's a shovel on the shelf, and looks at you and says, "I don't know who you are. You're dead. And are you here to help me clean up? Why are you here?"
Yes, we can help you.
Sorry,
of course.
Again, I have to go for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep. So, you go and you go in, and kind of ignores this shiny paladin, and which really upsets Xanalar. Kind of, why isn't this mere rabbit paying attention to me? And you're looking, Bert, and say, "Oh yeah, we can help you. Well, there's a pile of dirt over there. We got to put topsoil on top of all the sunken graves. It's going to take us all night."
All night, you say?
Oh, yeah. And then goes in and grabs a shovel and starts giving a shovel, and then looks at Gerald and says, "There's nobody new dead here. Do you want us to bury you?"
I poke him with my staff. Don't you think about it. There's always something here. And you said sunken graves? Where's the sunken graves? Wait, what's that tower over there? Who's in there? That's new, isn't it? That's new.
100+ years new. My great grandmother saw it built. You're old, and that's freaky. Are you here to see the paladin? She's been up there for a long time. Looks kind of like your friend there.
Yes, I think we start with checking the tower, and then we'll help you afterwards.
Okay. Make a pinky promise.
Of course.
Okay, so she puts out her pinky, and you promise. All right. So, you go toward the kind of where the entrance is, and what do you do at the tower?
Is it climbable? In the surface?
It's very climbable, or it's able to be climbed. Absolutely. So
I prefer to climb.
So you prefer to climb. What about you, Gerald? What do you think?
Is there a door and steps?
You're right in front of a door, and you imagine that there should be steps.
But you know,
so I try to open the door. I shake the doorknob. Just take the stairs. I'm just going to take the stairs.
All right.
No, wait.
You do your fancy, young, youthful thing and climb the tower, but I'm taking the stairs.
Lucia usually tells me that you shouldn't use the stairs because you will put dirt on the mattresses and stairs and floors and stuff. So it's better to take a way that people will see.
Well, it gets fine for you youngins, but not for me. I got my old bones here. I got to keep them, or else I'll have to replace them with someone else's.
Maybe no one lives here, so maybe it's okay to take the door.
Well, that paladin girl's up there, so she's gone through this way, so she's probably already made mud prints in here that wouldn't make a difference.
True. Is it locked? Can I use one of my rusty nails to try to pry it up?
It's not locked as much as just really it looks as if it was shut from the inside.
Well, maybe I could climb up and open it from the inside, maybe.
Okay, you do that. I'll just wait here until you get the door open, because I'm not going up that side of the wall. I can't do that.
No, it's
all right.
It's very climbable.
Okay, so Gerald is kind of waiting for you to do your thing. So what are you gonna do?
I'll try to climb up and find a way down.
Okay, so how are you gonna do that?
Just use my little claws.
All right.
And use the cracks and unevenness of the wall.
All right. So, roll. You're going inside, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, try to roll and see if you're. What are you going to use? Strength or your secrecy?
I prefer secrecy.
Yeah. Okay.
Success.
Okay, so you get to open it up. What do you do?
I climb up, climb down on the other side, or take the steps down and look at the door. Is it just some kind of what kind of lock is it? It keeps it shut.
It's like a metal lock, rusted.
I check it so it's not some kind of trap, because sometimes people use some kinds of. I don't want to disturb them, wake them at night, so I have to remove all strings and stuff from the lock before opening it.
Okay. And it clears up.
And I open the door for Gerald and Sanadar.
Okay, so you get in, and you see. Do any of you have a light? I guess the paladin would be carrying the light, right?
I have dark vision, being a dark elf.
Well, of course you do. So you're able to see everything. And what color is everything? Is it like colorful, or is it monochrome? Is it gray, purple, green? How does it look to you?
Everything is engrazed for me.
And
there is no color in my life.
So I would imagine that Xanalar is starting to light a torch. And what do you see in this 40-foot kind of circular room? What does it look like to you?
I use my smell primarily, so I don't know how it looks, but
what do you smell on this first kind of floor?
I'm thinking it's quite high, so it's almost the stairs go around the outside or the inside, and it's an open.
Yeah, they go around on the inside, yeah, and
all the way up, and there's no really floors, just a huge room.
Yeah, and so at the very top, there seems to be a room, but you're not too sure if it's the top floor or the second to top floor, but there's at least 4 stories, and the stairs are just coming out, and they're all wooden, and they're going around on the outside, and on the inside, there's a pillar that looks as if it has a lot of different like holes for candles and oil and stuff like that can be lit, but hasn't been lit for a very long time.
Are there candles or stuff around I can use?
Yeah, there's like little oil. There's like little oil jars that you can use. Like they look like old pots with a handle that hold the oil and can be lit.
I use them to light our way.
So you get it, and the paladin is having a terrible time and is getting very, very frustrated because he doesn't understand why he can't get this thing lit, and you just automatically kind of, you have a whole bunch of little bits and bobs, so you have like some type of maybe matchstick, or maybe one of those Chinese type of light things where you just pull off the top and there's embers and you light the oil. What do you see immediately?
That the boards of the stairs in pretty bad shape.
They're in pretty bad shape, absolutely. Can you roll me some type of smell? Some sense?
Perception?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Success.
A success. Ooh, you put it in the right spot, didn't you? So you smell, and I didn't bother to give you a bonus for that because how high you were, but you smell that there's somebody that smells very much like Xanalar, and and you smell another person, and you recognize the smell, but you're forgetful, and you can't really place it at the moment. You're kind of thinking about it, and you're trying to say, um, it, it doesn't smell right. Like the it's a person, and it doesn't smell right. So there's like two people that you're smelling, and then there's another smell that you're just not sure about.
I tell my friends this. I'm not sure. There's something fishy. Or maybe birdy.
Does it smell like someone died recently?
Not recently, or maybe. I'm not sure.
Gerald, can you roll? I'd like maybe perception. If you get an 8, it's bad. But if you don't roll an 8, you're fine. So if you could roll an 8, a D8. Goldie?
Mm-hmm.
If you could roll a D8.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh! So I said to you that if you rolled an 8, this wouldn't be good. So, you don't sense anybody that's recently dead. And you're just kind of humming and hawing, going up the stairs. And I would imagine that you're probably kind of grumpy that you have to walk all the way up these stairs.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So, as you're walking up these stairs together, I guess that Bert is in the lead, Gerald is behind, and you're going up, and you had smelt something that was weird, but you didn't exactly know what it was. And it's this smell of termites, and they're dead, and it seems as if they're recently dead, and you step on a stair, and I want to know, both of you roll a physical, please. So Gerald, you absolutely need a 1. Bert, you need a 6.
I want to invoke my lucky. So I just step over.
So you can add a +2, and you're good. You're good. So you both make it, and a couple of stairs collapse, but you kind of, how do you make it? How do you have to grab on, or are you kind of skipping up?
I'm going first, so I just walk up the stairs as usual.
Okay.
And whenever I take a step, the step breaks.
And okay.
And it's problem for the
people. Gerald, what are you doing? Are you like, the stairs are breaking as he's going up?
I'm not a heavy person because I'm just, skin and bones. And so I have my staff, and it has a loop on it. So I'm hooking the rails.
Oh, nice.
in order not to fall.
Oh, that's
or
awesome.
the candlestick holders.
Oh,
just
that's awesome. I'm gonna give you also a cliche point because that's brilliant. You're hooking on the side of the walls as you go up, and it's gradually tapering up to about 30 feet. And I would imagine that you're up about 3 stories. So 3 stories. There's no guardrail on the inside. There's only a guardrail on the outside. And Xanalar is kind of flying off, like as you're going up. He keeps on saying, "Be careful! I saw that. I knew that that was going to break. You know, you shouldn't have stepped on that. You know, how is that? Look!" And keeps on directing you with all these things, and is all very upset. And Bert, he's giving you all these instructions. What do you do?
Maybe I try to follow Sandalar's instructions, and it's getting very hard to do everything he says.
Yeah, you're very
like this. You mean like this? Oh, should I jump over this one?
Yeah, you're super trusting. Absolutely, you're like totally trusting him. Will you roll again for your physical? And you're going to take a -2 penalty because of your trust.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that is a critical failure. And so, while you're listening, you're are you getting overconfident, or how does this manifest itself? What happens to you?
On the contrary, I think I'm getting very unsure of myself, rather, and doesn't trust my instincts. Instead, I try to do everything that Sandara says, and it means I maybe take 2 steps on the same step.
And it breaks. And you start to fall, and you're high enough that if you fall, something really bad is going to happen. But you are in the midst of it's like the step, and you're looking up at the parrot, and I think that Xanalar is so arrogant. It's like, "I told you so," as you go down. So what do you do?
I grab, and I think the thing I grabbed is Gerald's boot, maybe.
Oh, nice. So, Gerald, your boot is there, and and you're very thin, so maybe your boot is not as sturdy. What do you do when all of a sudden Bert is falling right next to you and is trying to grab onto your boot, and you're going up with your looped staff?
And of course, I curse rats and fall down.
I let him grab onto my boot because I don't have time for this.
Okay, so you're letting him grab onto your boot. That's fine. Bert, what do you think you can do to benefit you from grabbing onto this boot?
I try to climb up as fast as I can, even if it means the boot will fall down.
Okay.
My boot is staying on.
Okay, so you believe that the boot is staying on. First of all, you have to grab this. So let's see if you have anything that can benefit you. You've been training as a thief, and so you've got a little bit of help that way. And so I'm going to give you a +1 for your physical. So you're rolling 7 or under to succeed. And of course, you grab the boot. Does it stay on?
Yes.
Okay, it stays on.
And you start crawling up this skeletal form. And I'm going to say this is spiritual power, Gerald. because it's kind of like your flesh. He's crawling up your flesh and your ratty clothes and your cloak to get himself all the way up to the top of you and onto the stairs.
Yeah, and
So
I have claws, and I apologize all the time. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. While I climb up.
So as he's climbing up, let's see how much of your skin that's left comes off. So if you could roll your spiritual power, you have a 4 in it, and you love being dead, so so you just passed. So how much skin does he take off?
I have a very thick robe. It may be worn, but it's quite thick, made of coarse wool, so he doesn't puncture it at all.
He just climbs up it, scales up, and gets back on the stairs. So I would imagine that you both have learnt your lesson. Don't listen to Xanalar. You
Yes.
go up the stairs and you get to where you just go above to where there's a platform and there's a wooden door that goes into a room. And I'd like you both to give me perception checks, please. And both of you are amazing in it. So if you get an 8, that's bad. But otherwise, you're going to pass. Yeah. Yeah. So you both are able to hear that there's a conversation, if not some type of argument going on. And are you listening for the words, or do you barge in, or what do you do?
I think it's a bit uncouth to disturb them, so we stay outside. It's not good to eavesdrop either, but what could you do?
There's a light coming out from underneath the wood, and there's a light coming through the keyhole, and the keyhole is like one of those old skeleton keys, but a large one that would open it up. But it could be locked. Maybe it's not locked. You don't know. And so you're outside. Gerald, what are you doing? He's Bert's looking very cautious. Doesn't want to barge in.
Out of my way. I've got to see what's going on here. We came all this way.
Are you going to listen? Are you going to barge open the door? Are you going to break open the door? Are you going to look through the keyhole? What are you going to do?
Look through the keyhole.
Okay, so you look through the keyhole. Bert has already sensed that there's another parrot person there. So so when you look through the keyhole, your eyes are kind of blinded because there's a whole bunch of candles that are in this room and oil lamps that are lit. And you can see, because of your perception roll, you can see that there is a paladin that looks almost identical to Xanalar, who's standing there with her arms crossed and looks like she's being bawled out by somebody who is looks like they might be looks like somebody that you recognize. It's someone who's dead and kind of in a dead type of way, kind of looks like the parrot, but dead, and is kind of wearing like bright yellow, like a a sailor's type of hat or rain hat, you know, one of those yellow ones that goes far back on the back, almost like a whaler's type of uniform, but certainly looks dead. But you kind of recognize the person.
So I open the door and say, "What's going on in here?"
Okay,
And
so first of all, you have to barge in. So you're going to put your shoulder into it. You're going to try to break it.
yeah,
Okay.
can the door not just open?
Oh no, it's locked.
So yeah, I'm going to try to push it with my bony self and
okay. So you try. So
barge in
roll
there.
a dice. You have to get a 1, and I can't give you any bonuses because there's not really room for you to barge in. No,
Or use a cliche point, maybe.
Yeah. Do you want to use a cliche point?
Is it just 1 point?
At the moment,
so,
you only have 1.
Yeah, let's use it.
Well, remember, cliches are for big things. Oh, you didn't need to roll that, but since you did, a cliche point is just an automatic. But I'm going to say that you hit the door and it's so unnoticeable that they don't even notice that you banged it because you're so light that you just kind of boop. You know, it's nothing. It's like air hitting against, and you look frustrated. I don't think you should spend a cliche point now. And cliche point should be something that's big and cliche like. I would imagine that you turn to Bert with kind of this damn it, open the door look. Bert, do you try to open the door now?
Yes, I can try, of course.
Okay.
Should we knock? Or should we just open?
Gerald, do you tell Bert what you've seen?
There's an undead falling out. The paladin, I think, is the one that we're looking for.
Rosalinda.
Rosalinda. I think that's her. And I think she might be in danger of this undead person or being. And I think we need to open the door and I need to take control of that undead person or being so that they're not a threat to Rosalind.
Bert looks very worried. Both because there's an undead and there's 2 Sandalars maybe. So
Xanalar hears that Rosalinda is in there, and Xanalar flies down and goes on the outside and tries to fly up to go to the top and in, which he thinks is going to be faster. So Bert, what do you do?
I tried to open the door.
All right. So are you going to barge in or
secrecy? I use something that I have in one of my pockets.
All right. So you pick the lock.
Yep.
Roll, please.
Is it secrecy?
Yeah.
Success.
Yeah, success. So you're able to open it. Are you trying to go in quietly or loudly?
Oh, I'm not going in. It's Gerald can go in.
Oh, okay. So you just kind of open up the door, and Gerald goes in, and Gerald.
Sir.
So Gerald, when you get in, you see that there is very much what you saw before, Rosalinda, and they didn't notice you until just now. And are they shocked? No, they're not. They're not shocked. And the person looks at you, and you will look at the dead person who looks very similar to Rosalinda, and like a dead version, but a man, and it's that guy that you raised from the dead not that long ago to be one of your minions, and he's dressed in like dock worker's rain gear, and is bawling out his daughter about how she cannot be with somebody, and it she looks like she's getting a lecture from her dad.
What are you doing here? I left you back at our cave. Why are you here?
You rose me from the dead. Rosalinda, this is the person who rose me from the dead. What?
You're welcome, but you're supposed to be back at the cave.
She immediately draws her sword, and it's a shining sword, and it's beautifully ornate. She looks much more powerful than Xanalar, and so she goes and starts charging at you immediately, and the dad uh, uh, is screaming, do it for the family, for vengeance, for vengeance. And so she goes to hit you, and what do you do?
I block it with my staff.
Okay, so let's both roll, you and I, and let's see who has the better difference. And I'm gonna say that she's probably at a 7, and you've got. Do you have anything that can help you? You must raise the dead. It lives.
I can mind flay her and make her pause for a couple of moments.
All right. So the first thing you're going to do is block. So let's see who goes first. So let's do a straight D8 roll to see who gets initiative. She does. So she's going to try to hit you. And so I'm going to wait until the dice disappear. It should happen any moment now. Oops. And I'm going to try to hit you, and then you're going to try to parry. She just makes it. And I'm not even going to have you roll for the parry. I think that you automatically parry because she was so low. How do you want to push away her sword?
I'm going to, block it with the staff and then try to trip her up with the crook of my staff and pull her up that way.
So do combat, and let's see if you're able to do that. Oh yeah, absolutely you are. And she is for sure, I think, gonna fall. Yeah, she's fallen. So she's now on the ground, and you're towering over her. And I'm gonna say that, Bert, you see all this from the door. Do you do anything? Your dead compatriot is being attacked.
Yes, of course I will rush in and yell, "Stop! Stop! Don't fight! It's a misunderstanding."
Can you use your persuasion? So whatever persuasion is, what is
social? Maybe?
Social? Yeah, I guess it would be social. Yeah, for sure.
My squeaky voice doesn't
your
bear
squeaky
too
voice.
well.
It's got a 3. Now, do you have anything that can give you a benefit?
I'm thinking I slip on the floor and fall into this bird woman and makes her drop her sword.
Okay, so you're gonna kind of slide, and I'm gonna say that because you help those in need, you're gonna get a +2. So you get a +2 for helping those in need, which is your friend, and so you're sliding and also trying to convince them not to fight. And she's on the ground too. So roll your social with a +2. So that means 5. Oh, you absolutely do it. Is she convinced? Now you have a difference of 3. Oh, but she gets a critical success. No, that that abomination must die. And she gets up and she makes another swing at the necromancer. I think initiative once again, because she's got to get up. You're already towering over her and you were ready to do something. So why don't we just both roll a d8 and see just straight who's faster? She's a 5. Ooh. So once again, she gets to make an attack on you. And so she goes to make the attack. And she has her sword in her hand. It's not off. And you don't have a chance to parry. And so she hits you.
I try to defend.
All right, you're gonna try to defend, but she's already hit because that Gerald got a critical failure, and Gerald, you can decide what part of your body does she cut off.
My right arm, because I'm left-handed.
Ah, okay. So your right arm falls to the ground. Do you feel it?
Not at all.
Not at all. And so. Bert, you're gonna try to do something. What are you gonna do?
I scream. Ah!
Let's see. I'm gonna see if she is alarmed by your scream. And I'm gonna give her the same kind of spiritual power. I'm just gonna give her a straight 4. No, she fails. So all of a sudden she jumps, and you both, certainly Gerald can do whatever you want. So what do you want to do?
I yell over at her father, who I raised, and tell him to hold his daughter, because he should still be under my control.
Okay, so you're commanding.
I'm commanding him to hold his daughter still.
Absolutely. So you're enforcing your spiritual power, your magic. So roll a magic, and I'm going to give you a +2 because you're so awesome. So that's great for you. And now we're gonna see if he can resist. And he's gonna need a 2 or a 1. He gets a critical success, and he doesn't want to listen to you, but he's kind of being compelled at the same time. And so you're compelling him. He's trying to resist, and he's reaching at his daughter, and he's almost putting his hands on her, but he hasn't quite done that. What do you want to do next, both of you? He's resisting.
I'm grabbing the arm from the floor, and I start banging it on the paladin.
Okay, so can you...
And said, you don't just cut arms of people. Stop cutting arms of people.
Okay, so she's paying attention to her father. So you can just do a combat roll, Bert. And you're helping, so I'm going to give you a +2. So you need a 6 or under. Yep, absolutely. And so what does it do to her?
She gets irritated and turns around and looks at me.
Oh yeah,
she's very angry.
She's really angry.
Like hands to the sides.
Yeah, she's like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? And so she's now distracted, has turned around completely. her father is now like her back is toward him. He's trying to resist you. Gerald, what do you want to do? And remember, you have a cliche point, which is basically a world breaker. You could do anything you want.
Is there a second dead body unanimated in the room?
There's not, but above you, you hear chains constantly moving, and it sounds like someone's upstairs and has been chained, restrained, and Bert, you smell this, and I'm going to say that what you smell is absolutely Constable Perina. Constable Perina is upstairs, and she has been shackled in some way. You smell it.
I tell this to Gerald.
Okay, so
with wide eyes, I'm just very surprised.
So, Gerald, now you know that your nemesis is upstairs and seems to have been taken prisoner by Rosalinda, and you're there still with Rosalinda now, maybe going to hit Bert, and you can do whatever you want. You could use your cliche point.
I'm going to use my cliche point to try and control her father again.
You absolutely control him. What do you want him to do? And it should be epic.
To grapple her to the ground.
Absolutely. He is grappled and he is on the ground. And outside, you see flying Xanalar, who's trying to get into one of these windows, but they're smaller than the ones upstairs. Trying to get in, and is saying, Rosalinda, Rosalinda. So, Bert, what do you want to do?
I shout at Xanalar, no, keep away, she's dangerous, she's insane. And I show him the arm. She cuts arms of people.
We'll sew it back on. Don't. And so she's there, and she's what's she gonna do? On a 1, 2, 3, 4, she's going to attack Gerald. No, she has to get off the ground, so she's got to get up, and I'm gonna say probably. Let's see how this goes. No, she can't get up. Her dad is absolutely controlling her on the ground. She cannot do anything. Gerald, what do you want to do now?
So does Gerald know that
Yeah.
the constable is upstairs?
Perina is upstairs. Constable Perina is upstairs. You've just heard from Bert that the smell is of Purina, and Purina, he hears chains trying to get loose.
So why do you have that contemptible constable chained upstairs?
He's all for humans, and he's corrupt. She's so corrupt. She's so corrupt. She has to pay, like you. Get off me, father! Get off me! You are a horrible person, you evil witch! She's trying to get up, but her dad has her firmly on the ground. So we need to wrap up in a couple of minutes. So, Gerald, what do you want to do?
I may raise the dead, but I'm not an out and out killer. like that, unless it's a battle for the end for the worlds.
All right, so you're talking you're talking out loud, and Bert hears you. Bert, what do you do?
Ooh.
She's talking about raising the dead and that she's not really a killer. And the daughter is underneath her dead father, and her dead father is got her pinned to the ground, and she's struggling. And upstairs, you hear these chains going like crazy, and you hear out of the window Xanalar going, my love," and she's saying, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you." And she's like cursing at Xanalar to go away, that she never loved him, and all this stuff.
Ooh.
Oh, thank you, Kuma.
Oh, that's brutal.
So what do you want to do, Bert? Kind of moving towards almost the last actions. Oh, cool.
I'm not sure what to do. Maybe I rush up to this corrupt person.
Okay, so you go up the stairs to the corrupt person, and just... Okay, go on.
I spend my cliche point to plead she should change sides. And
absolutely. All of a sudden, she changes sides, and she's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry about this." And she goes running behind you, saying, "Yes, we have to make sure that Purina is secure. That constable is so corrupt. Corrupt Constable Purina. We all have to stop and make sure that she doesn't get loose." And as you go into the room, Constable Purina has unloosed the chains and is going like out of the chains and toward the window, and has gnawn off her left hand. And so her left hand, she's chewed her hand off so that she can release herself. And so her hand is there just dead, and you're smelling the dead hand. And she goes and looks back at the window, and she says, "I'll get you next time." Bert, what do you want to do?
I pick up her left hand, and I have two left arms and hands. I just look at her. What is going on?
You've got a new nickname. Your nickname now, Bert, is Lefty Bert. And so she goes out of the window. Constable Purina has almost like one of those bat suits, and she starts flying out. But Xanalar is at the window, constantly looking for Rosalinda, and doesn't care that the arch nemesis has gotten away at the last moment. And Rosalinda is like, "Oh no, she's gotten away." And at this point, the credits roll, and there's a next time on My Father's Sword, as you have two left hands and you're figuring out what to do. I imagine that Gerald is probably going to try to raise the dead on the hand, and maybe have the little hand from monsters, which would earn you...
Sounds good.
Absolutely, that would earn you a cliche point. And Bert, you have the last comment of the evening.
I'm saying something like, "This got out of hand."
This you get a cliche point. This got out of hand. Thank you so much for Goldie and for Yun, and also for Dido, who obviously had to go. I know that he's been extremely busy and will be up doing a lot of work, and so that was unfortunate that he couldn't finish. But we appreciate the creation. I think that if you've watched this through, you'll see that we've played for just over 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes, and I think that we had a full story. How do you both feel about the game?
Fun. I like it.
It's a lot of imagination and trying to think on your feet.
Yeah, it's a lot of thinking on your feet, but I think that you both did really well. I mean, both of you are experienced gamers, and so it was a little more intuitive. I never realized about the left hand and the left hand, and I don't even know why I said the left hand. I guess I just thought, oh, Purina is right-handed, but it's a lot. It's a little bit of work for the GM, but as long as you're introducing all of these elements, and what I did, and I think I can show on the screen for everybody. Oh no, I can't. So no, I've got it locked. But I have everybody's kind of background and culture and stuff. So I have it on a spreadsheet so that it's very easy for me to see everything. So it was very, very quick. Goldie, you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I like a little bit more direction. So it was more asking us to describe a room that we've just entered felt.
And that was partly my direction to try to get you more involved. How did you like the creation part of it?
It was pretty easy, but again, where you've got all these different, modules and, limitations, to realize there are no limitations. It's kind of like overwhelming.
Yeah. So, Yun, how did you feel about it?
Yeah, it was fun.
What was the first part, the creation part?
Yeah, I think it was fun, but I think you have to think like that you have more opportunity to choose whatever you like, really, instead of just thinking small.
Yeah. I enjoyed the first part from kind of a director point and listening to you all come up with ideas. I thought that was fun, and I thought that you both seemed to have a good time just coming up with ideas, but I could see that it was because of the time constraints and because we're doing it on Zoom, it was a little harder in some ways because we weren't around a table. But the gameplay itself, I thought that given that we had a time limit for today, I thought that it went, for me, I thought that it went pretty well. And again, this is a game that's catering to people who've played a lot of games and who want to just have their imagination go wild. And so if you're interested in that and you're watching, or you're watching in the future, there is a Kickstarter starting. It will run for, I believe, 21 or 22 days. And if you want to back it, I don't believe that it's going to be that expensive. And Nordic Skulls is absolutely proven and has done a great job. Just to promote it, on Wind Tame. And it's a beautiful book, and it smells fantastic, and it's printed in it's wonderful paper. There's nothing like European paper. So anyway, take care, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time whenever we do something. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.